The most important thing you can do on this call, the most important thing of everything that every one of these incredible speakers has talked about, is price it right. If you price it right, you will sell your home. If you are the most skilled professional and you price it wrong, you will lose the listing and they'll eventually give it to the second or third realtor. So I want everybody here to know that if you price it right, you're going to eventually get to the settlement table. But if you don't, it's going to be very expensive and you're going to not like luxury. You'll regret ever being on this call and wasting your time in luxury if you don't price it right.
All right, hey, let's take that, Bob, and let's go to, because I did have a different question onto that. I'm used to doing an, $300,000, $400,000 house, and now all of a sudden somebody might be interested. And my very first $1 million listing, I'm trying to think how, and everybody kept telling me, nothing's going to sell in that neighborhood over $1 million. And I'm saying, this house is worth $1 million. How can I get that? How am I going to get that right price? Tammy, what do you think? How would I look at pricing a luxury home that's going to be, like what Bob just said, pricing it right, knowing that everybody loves their house. And I think all three of you will agree to this. I don't care who you are, you love your house because you want to get the maximum out of your house.
Sure. So that's actually one of the things that a lot of agents new to luxury find intimidating. So I suggest that absolutely devouring the data from the MLS on what the expectations are at certain price points. And if somebody's it has an expectation of this level of amenities, is that corresponding with the price point where they want to be? So you have to really learn. There's no barrier to this because everybody has access to the MLS. So just spend time, block time, and research, study every house that has sold in every price point and understand where things change, and then know how to use that data to present your case. And in some cases, you'll need to hire a third-party appraiser ahead of time who will go the extra mile to help arrive at the recommended marketing price that is going to generate activity as opposed to just conceding to a seller who wants to overprice something.
Okay, Dusty, how pricing a home, new agent, and I'm coming to you and it's like, hey, Dusty, I know you've got those big listings up there, but I got a $2 million property. I'm not quite sure about it. What would you say about putting a price on a house? What's your thought when you think of pricing a house, a luxury home?
Once again, it's all about the data, but I encourage you to get into as many homes as possible. What makes it really difficult for these custom homes is that the pictures don't justify it in quite the right way. Is the land usable? How big is the view? Every time there's a picture of this, they might be leaving something out right here strategically because it's ugly. So get into as many homes as possible. There's nothing as I would say the most horsepower I bring to a certain listing presentation or conversation with a seller when they say, yeah, but so-and-so on East Valley Road sold for this. And I say, yes, but did you walk the property? And they say, no. I say, well, it actually had A, B, C, D, E, and F because of this. And you wouldn't have noticed, but it was actually this, and it was built by this designer and this provenance, and et cetera. And it changes things very quickly. If you're just looking at the MLS data, which is extremely important, don't get me wrong, then you bring the same information to the table that the seller does. You need to get into as many homes as possible. And it also changes your filter for what quality is. I mean, listen, I did not grow up very wealthy. So as I'm getting into nicer and nicer homes, I kept thinking, wow, this is such a nice home. Yeah, it is until you see this one. And that's really nice. And then that really helps you justifying certain prices up or down. And sometimes it's a difficult conversation that you have to say, I'm sorry, but your neighbor you're referring to is actually a bit more high quality. They use this contractor and use this, and that's fine. But there is a value in this. So once again, it all comes to the data, and it has to be really, really, really well-known data and in terms of being on-site data. And that'll help a lot. And most rational human beings, given the proper information, will change their mind. And if they won't, not really somebody you want to work with anyway, or work with them once the first few agents don't work out.
One of probably the greatest pieces of education I had on luxury, I was pursuing a really high-end builder, and his tagline was that he was the master builder of the Phoenix metropolitan area. And I went to him. I said, prove to me that you're the master builder. You know, and he took me to all different stages throughout the construction of what a luxury home was versus a house that just has $1 million price tag on it. And he started pointing that out. And Dusty, that was so true. And he told me, he says, go to the stores, learn what Gagano means, learn the different woods, learn the countertops, learn and frescoes. In fact, we had an agent there in Santa Barbara, Montecito. We were walking the property and I told him to stop. And I said, just look at the ceiling. And I said, what do you see up there? He says, oh, I said, think of the artisan that did that on laying on their back, doing that all by hand, and ask the seller, the property owner, about that fresco. Guess what? Dusty, he was one of those that sold that property. He brought a buyer in and did exactly that. And he pointed those things out.